Yeah, you're good.
I think we're good, yeah.
Okay. Hey everybody, how are you doing today?
Good.
So as some of you may know, my name is Andrew Ferris, and today I'll be talking a bit about who I am and how this will impact you in your future, or how it could, per se. And first of all, I want to define who I am by laying out a few of my personal attributes. For as long as I can remember, I've always dreamed of living a life bigger than my own imaginations. To live in a world filled with peace, love, and without financial distress, to be able to support my family, and to be able to travel the world with limitless opportunities. In other words, I've always been a dreamer, and that's why I have that picture up there. Now, this may sound cliche and lack a sense of concrete sort of evidence to support it, but I can tell you all that I've always maintained a very high level of ambition and drive to succeed. What does this mean? Having this state of mentality doesn't always come without a cost. As does everything else in life, a dreamer is someone who constantly seeks out new experiences, loves the thrill of adventure, and embraces life to the fullest. So, this may pose as a problem down the line, not having a sense of certainty where I want to go at times. Sometimes I kind of lose that sense of where I want to stand today. And for the longest time, I had all these visions in my head of where I want to end up. But then I came to the realization and asked myself, how is it I'm going to get there? How am I to live this life beyond all expectations in my own imagination? Now that became the true question for me. So some of these personal attributes that I feel define me, I've always been dedicated to a life of compassion, whether that's giving back to others, as simple as somebody at the grocery store needing help, or I remember there was one time here at LMU, there was a professor and he was actually wheeling down the side of the curb and he was in a wheelchair, and I just felt really bad, not only because nobody was helping him, but I just felt like we have a civic duty to give. I feel like there tends to be a lot of individuality and like self-perseverance going on, and like that's great, but I feel like at a lot of times we need to take a step back and really say, it's time to do something for somebody else. In other ways that I feel like I've been able to give back, and I want to give back and continue to give back, is especially with my own family and friends. I just want to be able to support them and give them everything that I possibly can in the future. And in terms of creative expression, I love art, and in nature and in the world itself, I see art engraved in everything that we do and in everything that the world is. Someday I want to be able to use that creativity to develop a business or an idea that will ultimately change the world for the better. So if you have an idea, I guess something like what Steve Jobs created was amazing. That totally inspires me every day to keep going. And then I've always been attracted by innovators and intrigued by them who set their minds to something big and pursue their dreams to the fullest extent without any sort of limitation. And this leads me to ambition. This is what ties everything together, and my ambition is to succeed and to strive for greatness is something that has motivated me and continues to motivate me. And I always have this competitive edge to everything I do, whether it's in soccer or even just academically, and hopefully one day with the job. Now, this all leads to one thing, and that's making an impact. My ultimate goal in life is to leave some sort of positive impact on the greater good of society. Now, where am I going? I'm going to talk to you a bit about, I don't want to preach, but I do want to say that, life is a journey, and I want to tell you a little bit about my story, and then also how I applied the 5-year resume to establishing goals and my sense of direction. So the journey. This is actually a picture of the Redondo Beach Pier. It's a place that I've known to be home for me, and I've honestly lived there my entire life as a youth. So it just represents, that place of peace and where I've been. So for me, life hasn't always been so easy for Andrew Ferris, as you see today. It hasn't always been all positive, like all of you had your ups and downs. I've been blessed to come into this world of opportunity and endless possibility. I've been raised by two lovely parents, my mom and dad, and both coming from Colombia and North Africa respectively, migrating here. I had to take, not too long ago, there was opportunity, there was all this opportunity to achieve and become something great and going to school and achieving all this. But I had to take a leave of absence, unfortunately, due to some family issues, and I actually, all these range of possibilities, seemed to falter, and all of a sudden, all these chances and possibilities just kind of went to the side, and I had to push that back for a bit. That year off, I spent a lot of time evaluating and reevaluating myself. I went to the beach, I walked around, I explored, I even meditated, and I relaxed. But part of me knew that I needed to get back to school as soon as I was fit to do so. Coming back, it was initially a struggle, but I never gave in to that to the pressure of taking on a full academic load, or even deciding to pledge a fraternity that same semester I came back. And I'm glad to say that it wasn't easy transitioning, but I made it happen. I knew that if I were capable of coming back to school and turning myself around, that anything else was possible as well. Now down the line, here I am, a junior going on senior year at LMU, and although I may not have a clear definition of where I stand, I know I am headed in the right direction. Now doing the 5-year resume, I was able to really evaluate where I want to go. Making these SMART goals, whether it's short term or long term, I was able to really see where I stand now, and a realistic form of how I can really push that moving forward. So I'm gonna give you an example of a couple of the short-term goal and a long-term goal that I focused on. One of them now is to just raise my GPA to a 3.7 average and maintain that until graduation. So obviously academics are a very big priority to me. And how I'm going to do that, I'm going to focus and study at least 2 hours a day, more than I have. Prioritizing classes in which I'm struggling in, such as accounting, just killing me right now. And form study groups and prepare at least 1 week prior to exams and tests, because I feel like I've been trying to take it all on my own, and I think working with others would definitely help me. Now, in terms of long-term goals, I put down get established as an international brand representative for a company and consultant, and travel the world. See, I've always talked about consulting, and you might have heard Dr. Encher, mention it, and it just sounds like such a broad thing, right? And that's kind of like why I'm interested in it so much, is because I feel like there's endless opportunity there to grow individually, and it's not something that will hold me down for the rest of my life. And what I want to do specifically is land in a position at some sort of international brand representative or a consultant firm for a global company, similar to the idea and concept that I mentioned in my 5-year resume, which was getting sort of a position with like Target or one of those companies that are focused on like brand management. And I want to incorporate this in my work schedule and have the flexibility to travel. Traveling has always been something that has been on my mind, and I just want to be able to explore more places. I've been to a few, but it can never hurt to go more. So now I'm going to ask you guys, who are you and why are you here? I beg that question now. Who are you? Why are you here? I feel that many of us have attempted to seek out the answer to this question in the past few weeks, especially with the 5-year resume and this project. But now I really do encourage you. I really want you to take this seriously, because finding a personal motto and something you truly believe in, that's definitely going to help you find that motivation to keep going forward. And I really strongly believe that this assignment in itself has enabled me to have that focus that I need. So as for who am I, I'm an individual who believes in myself and of all my abilities to achieve success through this motto, by maintaining a high level of compassion, ambition, and being able to express myself creatively through the pursuit of my dreams and overall happiness. So now, what does that mean? Overall, happiness, you can define it as so many things. But I'd like to discuss this quote by the Dalai Lama, who mentions that happiness isn't something ready-made, it comes from your own actions. A lot of what I've done and eventually will do, it comes down to what I do physically and like my actions. It can't really be defined by, the amount of wealth I have, by the money, by, all the, stability or whatever it may be. I think it really comes down to, what I do and who I do it for, and ultimately just my actions. So, in conclusion, I'm Andrew Ferris. To some, I'm just another guy. I'm a business management major here at LMU. A son, a brother, a friend, a companion, however way you define me. But I know one thing is for certain. I'm here to leave a positive impact on all of you. I'm sure that you will all leave this world doing something that will positively impact myself and others as well. So I just want to say that I appreciate that, and ultimately, I believe in all of you.